How you doing? This is Professor Parker, and welcome to All This Math. And what we're about to do is learn how to write an equation of a line perpendicular. This, whenever you see this upside down capital T, that represents two lines that are perpendicular to each other, meaning that the lines have this type of relationship. If you were to draw them, they form a 90-degree angle with each other, right? So that's perpendicular. 2x plus 2y equals 6, which is the description of one line, and also passing through the point 5, negative 2. So a lot of times you'll see questions like this where you're given the equation of one line and you're given a point, and then you're told to find the equation of a new line that is either parallel or perpendicular to the line they give you, and it passes through a certain point. It could be any point, any random point. So what we want to do is, first of all, whenever you get a question where you're told something about something being perpendicular to something or parallel to something, you automatically want to think about slope, the slope of the line that you're given, right? If they give you the equation of the line, they might sometimes just give you 2 points on the line, and then you have to calculate the slope yourself. That's cool too. But here we have a line in standard form, because you also want to ask yourself this question: what type of form is the equation of the line in? Is it in standard form? Is it in slope-intercept form? Is it in point-slope form? If we look here, we see that this is called standard form because we have an x term and a y term on the left side of the equal sign, and we have a constant on the right side of the equal sign. So that's standard form. And standard form follows this: ax plus by is equal to c. That's standard form of a linear equation. All right, ax plus by equals c. That's the form that this is in. Now, I also told you that whenever you get a question and the question talks about lines being perpendicular to each other or parallel to each other, you automatically want to think about slope. What is the slope? Okay, here's a formula you can use to find slope when your equation that you're given is in standard form. M, which represents slope, is equal to negative a divided by b. Now, if you follow the standard form, and then you look at this equation, then we should be able to identify easily what a is and what b is. So we have negative 1, not because x is 1, because we don't know if x is 1. We don't know what x is. The coefficient of x is 1, though. So you put negative 1, and then b is going to be 2. So we got negative 1/2 for our slope. All right? That's the slope of this line. That's always like your first step. You got to find the slope of the line that they give you. All right? So we find that slope. Now, we look at the relationship between the line we want to find the equation for and the line that we have the equation for. The lines aren't parallel to each other. They're perpendicular to each other. So when lines are perpendicular to each other, that means that the slopes have a certain special relationship. That means that the slope of this line, if it's negative 1/2, the slope of the other line that's perpendicular to it is going to be the negative reciprocal of this slope. Now, 2 things: negative and reciprocal. Negative and reciprocal. Negative and reciprocal. So what does that mean? That means basically I have to take this negative 1/2 and do a couple things to it. First, I'm going to make it the negative of this number. So the negative of a negative, because this number is already negative, right? But the negative of a negative becomes a positive. So I know that my new slope is going to be positive, right? That's the first thing I know. But then I got to take the reciprocal, because the relationship is those slopes are negative reciprocals of each other. The reciprocal just means you flip the fraction upside down. You take the denominator, make it the numerator. You take the numerator, make it the denominator. So now I have 2 over 1. But instead of writing 2 over 1, I can just simplify that and just call it 2. So that means that the slope of the line that I'm looking for is positive 2. Because the negative of a negative is a positive, and the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2. Because that will become 2 over 1, and 2 over 1 is the same thing as 2. So now, we did the first step. We found the new slope. Now we need to find an equation, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use the standard form to find the equation. I'm going to use the slope-intercept form, which looks like this: y equals mx plus b, right? And then I'm going to plug in this x value and this y value, and I'm going to use this for m in order to solve for b, right? So my y is -2, my m is +2, my x is 5, and I do not know what b is, but I'm going to solve for b using algebra. So on the right-hand side, first I'm going to multiply this 2 and this 5, and I'm going to get 10, right? So I got 10 plus b, right? And then I got -2 over here. And then I'm going to solve for b by subtracting 10 on the right and subtracting 10 on the left. So I got -2 minus 10, which is -12. So -12 is equal to b. Now let me look back over that and make sure I did everything correctly. My y was -2. My m was +2. My x was +5. Yeah, okay, we good. We good. -2 equals 10 plus b. Subtract 10, subtract 10, -12 equals b. So now I can write my equation in slope-intercept form. So I got y equals, and whenever you write your equation, you need a numerical value for your m and your b, not for y and x. You just need numbers in the place of m and b. So the number right here and the number right here. So I'm going to put y equals, and what's my slope? My slope was 2, right? So I got 2x, and instead of writing plus b or plus -12, we can simplify that and just write -12. Plus -12 is the same thing as saying -12. Now, I could say I'm done right here and just draw a box around it and just finish. But what I want to also do is I want to change this to standard form. The reason I want to change it to standard form is because in the original problem, the equation I was given to me in standard form. So I basically want to just give them back an equation in the same form that they gave it to me. So if they give it to me in standard form, I want to give it back to them in standard form. If they kick it to me in slope-intercept form, I want to kick it to them back in slope-intercept form. They give it to me in point-slope form, I'm going to give it back to them in point-slope form. You see what I'm saying? So now, the way that I do this is, all I really need to do is just move this x term over to the left side. -2x, -2x. That cancels out. And instead of writing y minus 2x, I just changed the order around. We want the x term first. -2x plus y equals -12. Now, this is cool, and this is in standard form. But some textbooks argue that the lead coefficient should be positive. Some textbooks will say, I know most textbooks I've encountered have stated that the lead coefficient should never be a fraction, right? It should always be an integer. But some people, I don't know if this is like a stylistic difference or whatever, but some people say that it shouldn't be negative, the lead coefficient. So all I got to do to switch that up is just, if you want to do that, is just multiply everything by -1, right? And then that's just going to make this -2 into a +2, and that's going to make that -y, and that's going to make that +12. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to just get them back the answer like that. 2x minus y is equal to 12. But it's also equivalent to y equals 2x minus 12, and it's also equivalent to -2x plus y equals -12. All right. So again, whenever you see a problem where you have to write the equation of a line and they start talking about perpendicular or being parallel, find the slope first, then find the y-intercept, and then just write your equation. All right. It's not that deep. Once you know how to do it, right? Once you know the steps and you know how to do it, it's not that deep. If you don't know how to do this because nobody ever taught you how to do this, it's real difficult and it's real crazy and it's real scary and real intimidating. But once somebody teaches you how to do it, you know the steps, step by step, how to approach it, it's cake. All right. Now, please continue to send your math problems into the All This Math inbox, and your problem might make it to this board. Peace.